I would like to call the June 22nd meeting to order and the Heritage Commission, and appears everyone is here. Rob, Helen, LaDonna, Sherry, Carrie. I want to call you Sherry. And who is that on? And who is that on? I can't even, Nina. All right, and so the only missing person today is Cheryl, and Cheryl is excused. And yes, ma'am. Oh, Dawn. I forgot Dawn. Thank you. No, Dawn is absent as well. Sorry. I did not hear from Dawn or Cheryl. I mean, Dawn. All right, I'm sorry. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I was trying to pledge to that flag. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from our May 17th meeting? And I'm looking for any corrections or, anything that might have been overlooked. Mary, you're doing a very fine job. I want to let you know. We appreciate it. And we are going to miss you like crazy.
Really? Is it you too?
Eventually. Is that a secret?
No.
Good.
No, it isn't.
I didn't think it was, but I wasn't sure. But she's getting married and
Oh, congratulations.
moving away. We're going to miss her, but she might hang around a while. Anyway. Everybody looked at it? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the May minutes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Well, we will have to, for Cheryl, for the plaque workshop update, it's just June now and it's not scheduled until October, so I think we still have a little bit of time. But typically, we haven't been meeting in July and August. So I guess we want to decide, do we think we need a meeting more in the summer? Or will we still have time if we wait until September? That would only give 1 month to get the workshop together. From the workshop, we have the previous packet of information that tells the homeowners how to research it and fill their forms out. And all that work has been done by, it was done by Vichy at the county level. So we have that packet. I still have a copy of the letter that I sent out to the homeowners, and Cheryl's going to use that same letter. So we have all those little things done, but what we don't have done is, like, who do we have, coming, and if we want to serve refreshments or something like that. So there's not a whole lot to do, and I feel like we might be able to get by without meeting in July and August if people are vacationing and do it in September. But we're not meeting till the third Tuesday of September now, so it's just up to you guys.
It sounds like all the information's prepared, you have the letter and the packet, and, really we're just talking about attendance and refreshments. I
Right.
think we could easily
Do
pull
that
that together.
in a month time, yes. You guys agree too? Okay. Yes, we did do a lot of work on that, so, all right, so we, discuss that we have time. I'll just put that, she's making minutes for us,
How were you out?
Okay, Nina, do you have anything further for us at this point on this meeting, for the Christmas ornament? I know you're checking into it.
Well,
Just an update?
So Lynn, the gal Christina, you were gonna reach out to her to contact me, the girl named Christina?
So the company is Winning Concepts, but I do need a design of some sort of, from the Heritage Commission, that you're looking for the ornaments. If you're looking for what we have there, I just need a little bit more of a guidelines on what your ornaments will be, or if you want to reach out with Winning Concepts directly to design something, that's entirely up to you. As far as Christina reaching out to you, that's absolutely, but I still need a little bit more information from the Heritage Commission on what it is that they're trying, what the ornaments will look like, or what your visions are.
Well, because we gave that
We talked
information
last
at the
month.
last meeting.
Last month, I don't know if you were here or not.
Okay,
but-
and then so Winning Concepts, there's several different areas to go down. If this is something that you want the city to take on, I was under the impression that you were going to look at a couple different designs, but maybe I'm mistaken.
No, we did share some ideas at the last meeting, and I think it came to be that Christina was, you were gonna reach out to her and to have her contact me so I could share some of this with her, and then get either some influence from her on what maybe some of our options might be, just looking at these ideas. That was my understanding.
Okay, so, well, that's fine. There's a couple different ways. You can, someone from the Heritage Commission can talk directly with whomever is going to manufacture these, and then that way the communication is straight from the Heritage Commission to whomever is going to be designing it, whether it be Winning Concepts or Signs by Summer or Lynn Signs or whomever that would be, that would take care of this. Or we can work through city staff, that she would act as the go-between or the liaison between someone directly from the Heritage Commission versus, or someone, she'd be go-between between the Heritage Commission and then whoever would be doing the quotes to make sure that they could get specific designs. We can get roundabouts for ideas, but if there's tweaks, everything will affect the cost.
Right.
So,
Would you rather work with staff directly and let them work with the company, or would you rather work directly with the company?
Well, I mean, initially I can work directly with the company if you tell me who specifically, and then, and I also kind of maybe need to know where our budget might be, because you can just go with all these ideas and you could come back and say, well, we don't have the money for that, you know what I mean?
right.
So kind of like on the initial conversations with them, give them some concepts,
So
and here's our budget.
Here, I mean, the conversation basically was this last time. There was
Right.
other conversation that there might be additional designs. This is going to be different than whatever, cost-wise, of what those designs would be. There would be some variances of how many you're looking at purchasing, materials and whatnot. So I bet I can get staff to work on this. I just need to know design-wise what it is that you're looking to do.
Well, I think
Outside of, if there's anything additional outside of this.
yeah. I mean, to me, we talked about this key concept,
key, yeah.
just kind of driving that. But then we looked at these coasters,
Right.
which were actually perfect size for an ornament.
Right, that's
That'd
what,
be like a round ornament,
Mhm.
kind of thing. And I thought, they're really, they're exactly what we were thinking of.
Could it be two-sided even?
Yeah, I was thinking double-sided.
You could
yeah,
have,
you could be double-sided, or it could be to where the cuts are all the way through, so it's almost
So it's-
a three-dimensional type ornament. So there's tons of variations, and that will depend on the cost,
Right.
or those variations will have the cost, and
Right.
there's several different.
we
So
could
maybe
do them
ways to go
flat
about
and
it.
cut,
Yeah.
have a variety, either way,
Right.
depending on, that. That's just an
I
idea.
mean, even like, I mean, so let's just say this is how we want the writing and all to look, for example. But we look at something like this wood ornament, I mean, back and front as one option. Or potentially a glass ornament that is like a round ball that has this ink sprayed on it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it looks like a Christmas ornament, right? I mean, this does too. It's got the right colors and stuff.
Well, the only thing
It's
we,
just like maybe two options to think about using this specific design.
And when you start going to the manufacturer, there's going to be, I mean, unless you're set on either it's going to be this or glass, there's going to be different variations
Right,
that I don't
costs.
know that staff, you want
Okay.
staff to make those decisions.
Yeah.
and we
No.
could actually take this and just put 1925 to 2025 on there, so it,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
we wouldn't,
Right.
Use it for the centennial.
yeah.
I mean, I'm certainly fine working with staff
So-
on everything, because I
Yeah.
just want to
Okay.
make sure.
If we've
Are you
got-
good with that?
If we've got clear direction from the Heritage Commission on this is what our product's going to be, then we can absolutely go through and research that out.
Yeah.
Nina, do we need any more discussion, do you think, on the ornaments? I mean,
No.
with this or glass?
No, I'm totally
I think
fine.
we're good.
I'm totally fine with
From-
doing that.
Are you guys from our last meeting?
To this,
Mhm.
I mean,
I think, yeah, I think there's maybe a couple options is what
Mhm.
we're looking at. So like that, maybe like singular, like you talked about, 3D, just to see how it looks or get some costs. And then that double-sided with maybe one on the back of the Keystone Inn or something like
And
that.
the key would be
And
the
then
other thing.
The key, and then to do a,
Yeah.
so
So-
those designs, that like the Keystone Inn or the key, those need to be kind of discussed with, through the Heritage Commission, and that we can take them to staff and get the additional, get those costs as well.
Well,
So that's, there's still a design
right, so
part
it's,
of it that needs to be taken care of prior to staff going out and saying, what's the price?
We can get
Yeah.
together and talk about
Yeah,
it.
so I think probably the best thing would be, because I'm all about not doing things multiple times. It's ridiculous.
Right.
And multiple people and multiple communications. So if I can know who the company is and the contact, I can reach out to them directly and kind of tell them what we're trying to do with a couple of options that I think we as a group have decided would be a good idea. And then bring that to the staff and your group to see, explore the cost.
And
Okay.
we have no problems doing that under our contract, I just need the concepts of the design. So so when you start talking about, and we talked about a little bit last time with having the inn in there, we don't have what the Heritage Commission is visioning as far as the inn goes or the key.
so do
So
we,
we need those designs so that we can send them out to the
okay.
companies.
I think Nina has a picture of the
Yeah.
key. But,
Yeah.
do we have a good photograph of the inn that's a good quality?
I
that
do.
we- you
I have
do?
a- I have a
Miss LaDonna.
Wouldn't it be, we've got lots of photographs, I mean, we could look through them,
I have a rendering of it at my office.
oh, you do?
You
Nice.
do? That might be nice, like painted on a glass
It's a
one.
print.
Mhm. Can you bring that next time, or can you take a photo of it to show us, and you could text it to us, or we can bring it to the, no, if you could photo that and send that to Nina,
Okay.
so she can have it, to,
We can have it too.
and so she could look at that. Are you good with that, Nina? For
Sure.
that part of it?
Yeah.
And anything you want any of us to do, tell us, I mean,
Yeah.
of course.
So-
It's not all on you.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we agreed, we like this idea, like
Yeah.
this, and doing a back and front kind of deal. The idea of a key, like I pulled up a couple of ideas, kind of driving the whole thing Keystone, but putting the information on there like we were talking about.
But is that 3D, like a wooden key or
Yeah,
something, or a metal?
it would
Yes.
be, yeah, so you could really see the detail.
Okay.
And, I mean, these are just some stuff I pulled up on the computer playing around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another idea might be able to look at a glass ornament, round, that has the, painted to say either this on it, or it just shows the inn and it says 100th celebration. Whatever's easier to logo on there, I don't know how they do that.
So
Just-
then she's going to reach out to our companies, and she's gonna get quotes on this as an ornament.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna get quotes on this as an ornament, double-sided, and she's gonna get quotes on a key
Key.
that I don't have that information on it. Then she's gonna get quotes on a glass ball with this on there.
Or the
Or-
Keystone Inn.
Or the Keystone.
I need a
Whatever we can
picture,
get on
what
that.
picture of the Keystone Inn that you would like on that. And
Just
the
a-
Well, we're gonna look
Good
at this
example.
rendering.
Or maybe have the the key on one side on the glass ornament and the N on the other, because you know, they're round, so there might be room to do both.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kinda like the key all by its lonesome. Makes a nice ornament, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it does boil down the
Yeah.
cost. I think the biggest thing is we wanna make something that people wanna buy.
Right, and so we'll, like I said,
So
we'll
it's
go
really
out
gotta
and
be
do the
collectible.
purchasing, but we need to, the concrete, the design that's coming out, because it's not, they will be designing.
Do you
it.
need,
It's
do you
something
need
that's coming
copies
from that.
of this if we?
Yes,
need
I
more
want
than
to
that.
copies of what it is that you're envisioning these
Yeah, you
ornaments
can
to
have
be.
copies of these.
Yeah.
And
Do-
then
I
once
thought
we
you
have
had
that.
copies of it, I didn't know.
You don't need a 3D thing or anything like that, though, no, just a
No,
copy of
I need the, just the
something.
designs that
Yeah.
you're looking to have on.
Base ornaments.
God bless you, that we can go ahead and go out for purchasing,
I think 3 is
look for
plenty.
quotes.
Don't you? I think 3 is a nice idea. Gives people options and they might wanna buy all 3. And I think that would be great.
I think it boils down to cost.
Yeah.
Yes, well, depending on what the cost is, obviously.
I would imagine these wood ones are pretty inexpensive to make. I don't know about glass. No idea.
And there might be another
As-
material besides wood that might be less
Exactly.
expensive.
Might be like
Yeah,
a thick
as
plastic.
soon as I find out, as soon as you, give us the designs, we can go out for pricing on that. But I
Okay.
need to know what the Heritage Commission's looking to see.
All right, so that info will come from Nina,
Okay.
and you can share that with us, Nina.
With Ms.
Would it be-
Hellman's rendering of the.
With
so
the end,
we'll
if
do
it'll
that as
work.
well.
If that doesn't, if it's too big or we can't make it squishier or smaller or whatever, I mean, we may need to go on a search for something else on the end.
Okay.
I know we've got pictures of it, but I'd have to look.
I mean,
I don't know how
have-
clear they
I
are.
have-
Is your
That's
rendering
nice.
in color?
My, so,
It's black and white.
White.
Is it like this, like Nina's picking up right now?
Oh, nice.
Some-
that's actually a Christmas card that we bought on eBay.
And I'll need that emailed to us now for public records.
So you want me to email you?
What's on, I'll need
That-
that photo emailed for public record, just because it's being shared.
Okay. Can I go ahead and just give you these today? I don't think I saved these. I just printed them and brought them to the meeting.
This is somebody's
Sam.
calling. This is a really busy
It is.
photo,
It is,
so that might not work for us.
I know, it's just one that I have.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I'm sharing it.
How does yours compare to that, Helen?
I mean, the real color is in the
I
trees.
don't know, I haven't looked at it in a long time.
I will pull up any old pictures that we have that I can find, Nina, and I'll
just
I'll
send
get
it
them
to
to
me,
you,
y'all,
okay?
and then I can kind of figure out maybe what, because probably something more black and white would probably be the easiest to deal with.
Mhm.
This is really pretty because it's got the green, thinking Christmassy, right? The green trees really are dominant, and the rest of the picture is pretty much black and white. It's kind of interesting. This
The
is a,
background's blue.
yeah, this is an old, it's either a card that you write a note. Dave bought it on eBay, so it's original to Keystone, apparently. And we've got it displayed in a frame in the bathroom, the guest bathroom.
Linda Wharton, she made a bunch of those, and
They're-
we used to sell them down there
Mhm.
where Rusty Gypsy is
Yeah.
now.
They're real pretty, it's real pretty.
You know, if we get a pattern, we could even, this is off topic, but a postcard might be good for people to send, Christmas greetings to people too.
That's
That
almost like
would
what
be
this looks
something to
like in a
sell.
way, as a postcard.
Fundraiser.
Okay, so I'll email you the picture of the inn.
You'll email
Mary, I'm sorry. And I don't have this, I didn't save these, I don't think, I'll look. And then what else do I need to send for that group to start looking?
The
So
end,
the picture of the
key,
end that you want on the ornament, the key, and then we're just gonna go with this design.
rounds.
This is.
Okay.
Can we do it in color or anything, add a little color so it would be more Christmas looking?
It'll be more, but
Yeah.
yes. I'm sure
Oh,
it will.
okay. Well, no, that would work fine too. That's gold and that goes with
So-
Christmas stuff. Okay, good. Let's see, all right, and then the Christmas house walking tour. Miss Rodenroth, you're busy, aren't you? Mm.
Well, I haven't done anything much with that.
Okay. That's gonna be for this year though, right? Refresh my memory. We're
The
gonna
goal
do
is to try to get it
this
this year. I
year?
think the biggest goal is to identify so the walking tour is different from the inside tour.
Mhm.
And there's several houses I think we could approach about the walking. I mean, people probably don't care. But on the inside tour, I think we'd have to have at least 3 homes to make it doable. I just gotta find out who'd wanna do that, who'd be willing to do that.
Well, we could break it down, you know, in each contact, or send names,
Yeah,
or
and-
look at houses that we think would be, or a
Right.
street where there's a.
Well, and you gotta kinda keep it so
Together.
that it's easy either to walk,
Mhm.
you know, ideally to walk, versus driving. I mean, and then if they do drive, they gotta have somewhere to park, you know. So I think we just gotta think about specifically the geographic area, the potential targets that I think would be good houses to do, and then approach those individuals. So what I can do by the next meeting is kind of map that out, and we ride around all the time, and I know
Mhm.
some of the people, so, just kind of identify who might be open.
Okay, and you guys, if
I
you
mean, I
see
think
a
of your
house.
I think about
yeah.
your neighbor, we were riding by there just the other night,
Mhm.
even though your house isn't finished.
Christine's.
It's kind of fun to see a house that's in the process, you know what I mean? And what's going on and all the efforts that are going on to make that house, you know? 'Cause it could-
Lots of efforts.
Yeah, lots of effort, exactly. But I mean, you know, I think it's kind of nice to be able to do that. I mean, you could go and put a tree in a house that's not got anything in it, but you could see some of the work that's
Right.
going
Can
on.
you see? I'm sorry.
Somebody could talk to the history and, you know, make it feel like a part of the experience. But then you have the house next door that's really cool looking, inviting. I don't know if they'd ever be open to doing something like that. I mean, certainly my house is available for
I
that.
don't think so
Yeah.
right now, because Christine's husband is very ill,
Uh-huh.
and
And see, I don't know all that stuff.
yeah,
I'm just thinking in my
they
mind,
couldn't bring anybody in the
location-wise.
house
Yeah.
at all, you know, right now.
But you could
But by Christmas, you don't
incorporate-
know, or whatever. It could be an exterior though.
Right, like, so you could incorporate the walking tour with the inside tour, like you
Yeah.
said, and say, have some that are just strictly outside, and then some
Right.
that, 3 that are inside
Right,
and outside.
right, that's true. But if you keep, that's why they'd have to kind of be in a
Mhm.
close geographic area.
Maybe we
Well,
could
what do you,
scout
what do
out
you
a
think is
street.
close geographic? Because, you know, sometimes what one person thinks is walkable.
To me, it's gotta be somewhere between Magnolia and then crossing over to Lakeview in that general area.
Mhm.
Like, you know, around the park.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm just, because they at least can go drive at the park and go that backside.
Park at Keystone Beach.
And they can park at my house and walk down Jasmine and
Mhm.
down Magnolia, or Magnolia mainly. Because I'm thinking about Deirdre's house, of course.
Mhm.
I haven't asked her about it.
Well, your
but-
house is one, for sure.
Correct, but I have parking space
Yes,
too.
okay.
So we have parking space down at the shop. I
Mhm.
mean, we can park probably 20 cars down there easily, and they can walk, you know, or they can park over at the park and walk in those areas over there by Lakeview and by where you're at, kind of behind the tennis courts. Because there's that other little Spanish house, it's adorable right there. I noticed that other house sold, that one that was kind of a hot mess, been for sale for a year, the real deco looking rival house.
Which one?
That's kind of the peachy color.
On the lake?
I don't think it's on the
Oh.
lake, it was on the corner, I can't remember where the corner is.
I'm darn
It's
close.
kind of it's up for sale for a while, but it's empty, I noticed.
Which road?
It's a 2-story, it looks very
Oh.
much kind of,
Oh, the Sutherland's old house.
it sold, did
years
it
ago.
sell?
I don't know, I saw a sign there, but I.
There was, it looked very emptied out when we were there, just
It was eat up with termites at one
Sunday
time.
night, we rode by there. I just thought that house is a really cool house,
Yeah,
but.
he and I
um,
went to school.
So we just have to figure out,
Sure.
and that's to me what I mean, don't you
Okay,
kind of,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
gotta be, you gotta be in town, kind of.
Well, there's 3 little houses right there together by Deidre. Hers is in the middle, and then 2 older
And
ones
there are
right
various
there.
stages of
Yeah,
things.
so-
I mean, there's one house that is, the roof has been blue since we lived here at the Blue
Oh,
Jar.
okay.
And it's, I think, a single gal that's trying to run that house by
Okay.
herself, you know. It's kind of, the house is kind of a hot mess. So, I don't know, but there's another couple next to Deirdre that might be someone to ask.
Yeah, I think the Heads lived there for many years, if you're talking about to the right, if you're facing her
I
house.
met
And
them
they
in
took,
Jacksonville.
they took very good care of that.
I met them in Jacksonville
You
at a
did?
Rusted, it's called Rusted, is the store they own in Jacksonville.
Oh, my
And they told me
gosh.
they live right there.
Isn't that a small world?
I know.
Chunkhead.
Too funny. So what I'll do, I'll kind of create a map and geographic and then ride around and kind of, even the people who just got plaqued, that we plaqued recently in the Gray House,
Mhm.
might be a good opportunity. Their home looks gorgeous on the water. So,
Wait, which home?
the one we recently plaqued, last year, maybe it was early last
On
year.
the water?
Mhm.
Wait a minute,
It's on Lakeview.
okay.
You might be able to just use the map they've created for the walking tour.
Right, I can look at that and see
Mhm.
as a guide, yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'll do, I'll just kind of look potentially and think about, you know, who we could include on it, and then the next step, get y'all to agree or disagree, and then I can approach those people
Okay.
to see what their thoughts are about it.
Do you want us to look around too while we're
Yeah,
out
if
and
you guys
about?
have any
If you-
ideas, let me know.
Yeah, if you guys are riding around, you notice something, that you think would be great, let me know too. That looks great, you think people, but keep in mind, you wanna kinda keep it central to the city where we can walk it, yeah. Okay. Great, Nina, thanks for all your helping on that. Design guidelines, okay, we didn't get to this last month, did we? We postponed it. Hold on a second. I gave you, we have design guidelines already in our booklet, okay? So nothing has really changed as far as that goes, but what the city is looking into is grant applications. And so Steve updated this to include, there's a paragraph in there. This is the only thing that is actually changing in the entire thing. So I feel like I can read it, Lynn, and you're looking at.
And
but
this is proposed language? I'm sorry.
this is what he thinks we should insert in there, just because there's, if someone comes in for a facade grant on a business building downtown,
Mhm.
this would kind of take care of that.
Okay.
For the CRA portion of it. And it says, whereas the city of Keystone Heights and its CRA have sought guidance from the Heritage Commission regarding facade grant program criteria, and there will be an application in there too, okay. And whereas the city property owners have sought the advice of the Heritage Commission regarding improvements and changes to their building exteriors. So that was not in there before.
Okay.
Related to the grants, okay? So that is really the only thing we need to approve or disapprove. And everything else is the same. And I don't see,
So someone seeking a facade
A
grant
fac-
would come through
a
the
CRA
A
grant
CRA grant would come through the Heritage Commission for approval?
on an old building,
Oh,
with, on a historic building.
of a
I
house.
don't know if they would do it on every, Lynn? Do you have an idea about every building, or would it only be for?
The city council's asking the Heritage Commission to review the design guidelines for moving forward with a facade grant within the downtown area. So the agency is looking at the possibility of opening up a facade grant for every business that's within our agency, within our area. The rules and regulations of the grant will have to be established through the agency as it is their funding. However, they're asking the Heritage Commission to look through the design guidelines to make sure that those guidelines do capture the needs, the wants, the desires of restoring to an older community, the aesthetics that we're looking for as the Heritage Commission is kind of the driving force behind that. So everything else, as far as who would be open to or things like that, that would be established through through the agency.
But our design guidelines are fine for facade grants or for updating the building. We don't need to do anything for that. We're not changing it.
Okay.
But then we did need to update the design guidelines to include a grant application, and that we would look at the grant application from the Heritage Commission standpoint. That's my understanding of the process.
Once we receive grants or the applications, then they'll be reviewed for compliance through the design guidelines by the Heritage Commission or a committee set from members of the Heritage Commission. So that will all be established through the agency, but the city's really looking for input from the commission to make sure that the design guidelines are up to date, and then we'll take them and incorporate them into the application.
And this is that up-to-date design guideline that we're voting on right now. And the main change that has been made on this is these two paragraphs that are underlined right here, and the rest of it is okay. So
Okay,
we will
so-
approve this, we will talk about it, vote on it, and then sign
Now,
it.
Understand your design guidelines aren't those design guidelines are your design guidelines for forever and for any other project. Where the agency is looking at establishing a facade grant to incorporate the design guidelines. So I'd be careful on amending any guidelines that you have to cater specifically to a grant application, because those design guidelines would be used, I think, throughout. Does that make sense?
I don't think, yeah.
Can I read it?
Yes,
Sorry.
thank you. I'm sorry, I passed that out last
No, no,
meeting.
I'm sorry.
All right, that's all right.
I probably have a copy. So, and this
And
was
we
only
need
changed.
electronic copies of any documents or any phone pictures or anything that you guys distribute through the meeting so that we can hold them for record. So I don't know that we've got the design guidelines electronically that you, the proposed design guidelines that you passed out last meeting electronically.
You mean like in an email with an
Mhm.
attachment?
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
this is in the preamble. So it's not in where the guidelines,
So that would be language then we would probably lift from the preamble because the design guidelines are the guidelines
Right.
forever,
So the-
forever.
Yes.
the
And that
guidelines
would-
are unchanged.
That would be
Yeah.
language that the agency would
Yes.
consider within their application.
Yeah, so there's real, that's the only, I mean, that's the only little thing.
So that wouldn't be language that would be within your guidelines, that's
Right.
language for the agency to consider in their application.
Okay. So we're okay with this is the way it is. We still want that on this.
so we need to vote to amend, is that what we're doing? We're
Yes,
approving?
we just kept, wait a minute, hold on a second.
So here's my, if there's.
Steve is asking us for any suggested changes. Do we have any changes on this? Because it's really.
On the design guidelines
Right.
itself. The application will have to be determined through the agency
Mhm.
because it's their funds.
Right, we're only talking about the design.
The design guidelines
Yes.
itself. Now, I'll take the language that Vice Mayor Hart has suggested because that would probably be language that would be more appropriate in the application, I would think.
Right,
Without seeing it, I don't know.
but this is the suggested changes that
Yes.
we're adding in. So we need
Yes.
to vote
Vote
to,
on, that's all we have to do today, is say we,
to add the suggested language to the preamble of the design guidelines.
So, and then the design guidelines then regardless on if we're talking about a facade grant or if we're talking about homes within the community, if we're talking about whatever, those design guidelines are being adopted from the Heritage Commission as the design guidelines, including that preamble.
Yes. With the suggested added changes, yes. Okay.
is that clear? I mean, is anybody confused? Everybody got it? I mean, it seems
So
simple to me when
without-
Steve talked to me about
The
it.
information of what's in the preamble, I don't know, that's not information that was provided to us prior to.
Well, she just read, you wanna read it again?
But but it doesn't refer, it refers to facade grants.
Go ahead and read it again.
It says, whereas the city of, you don't want the whole thing read, just the update, right?
Yeah, just the
Okay.
underlines part.
Whereas the city of Keystone Heights and its CRA have sought guidance from the Heritage Commission regarding facade grant program criteria, and whereas the property owners have sought the advice of the Heritage Commission regarding improvements and changes to their building exteriors, now therefore the Heritage Commission does hereby and adopt the following design guidelines. But those have not changed.
Right.
But this part was not in there before, that we were gonna be consulted because of CRA
Yeah.
for grants.
Okay.
So that was the only thing, that was the only difference.
Okay, so the guidelines themselves are fine, so outside of the agency, these are the guidelines that are the Heritage
Right.
Commission.
Yes.
But we still need to vote to amend the language
The
to the
two
preamble,
sentences.
to add it to the preamble.
That's all.
And overall, it's amending the design guidelines in the preamble, but not the specific guidelines. Okay, so,
Because we haven't changed those, you know.
Okay.
Understanding that your
Okay.
design guidelines are not going to be used just specifically for this grant or within things that are within the agency.
those aren't and those aren't the only two things in the preamble, there are others. So it's completely in a document, you know, you lay out what your guidelines are gonna address, and as we're moving forward and the city's growing, you know, this is, or, you know, different things we're applying for, whatnot, or may come under our consideration, this is part of the growth. So do you need a motion?
Are you comfortable, Lynn, that we're giving you what you
Yes.
need?
If you're good with
I
your
kinda
design
sense
guidelines.
you're not comfortable, so I just wanna make sure we.
Do you wanna review this?
My concern is that the design guidelines itself, the criteria, so the application will require meeting of what's in the body of the design guidelines. And then if you were to utilize those design guidelines for something outside of the agency, so those are going to be the design guidelines until they're amended for whatever reason.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're okay with that language of that being forever, then by all means.
Where's Rob going?
He's going.
Oh, sorry, Lynn.
But I will need a copy of this.
Yes, an electronic
We
copy.
do not have this.
Well, we have it. It should be with our Heritage Commission stuff. When we prepare our
Well-
books, it's online.
Yeah.
It's,
It was not included in the packet for this month, and I don't know that it was included in the packet for last month either in the emails. It was
oh, we had the
distributed in paper
handout.
copy.
I'm sorry, gotcha. All right, so I will send you a copy of that, Lynn.
So what is the timeline on the facade grants?
The facade grant will be, we're looking at the possibility of rolling it out probably January of next year.
Okay.
So we have some time to go
Okay.
through because we'll be consulting with our budget for next fiscal year to move forward with it.
So does that go through an RFP process as well?
No, it does not.
Oh, good.
It's an individual applicant. Businesses will be applying.
That's good.
So
if we don't vote on this today, if
it's
we,
not an issue.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, why don't we just vote on it? Or what are you saying?
I think from an administrative standpoint, what you were suggesting is that we put it on the business. I don't know, is that what you were suggesting, that
I'm not
maybe we
sure.
wait and delay it for a month and just make sure that it's all?
I don't know what we would do different next month. I think I'm
Then
missing
go ahead and
something.
vote on it if you're comfortable.
No.
But like I said, this is something that we have not seen. But if you're good with the design guidelines, what the agency was asking for is to go through and review your guidelines to make sure that those were still appropriate. If there's any suggested changes or things of that nature, the applications, once we receive them, if they decide to move forward with a facade grant, this is just questions to please review your guidelines. There will be a committee that we put together to review these applications that will include the Heritage Commission to make sure that they meet all design guidelines.
I think, well, it was like 2 months ago that we said, look at the design guidelines, then we met
Okay.
last month. Nobody has come up with any changes for any design guidelines,
Okay.
and I think they're pretty well done. I don't know, do you think we need to go another month and see if, I don't know what we would do.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cut and dry.
I think so too.
It's not like it's any big change. You just included a preamble,
Yeah.
basically. I think what Lynn's saying is we just want to protect what we currently have as the guidelines.
Okay.
And not allow for an opening of something to change those guidelines, which, the preamble could have done, but apparently the wording doesn't appear to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like I'm missing something she's saying. Do you understand what she's saying?
Well, I think
Or
she
do
just
you
has not received it electronically, or it wasn't in our, we know
I
it's in our
sent it
book.
last night.
Oh, you did? Yeah. I mean, I think I
Oh,
remember.
no,
Yeah, that.
not with the correction. Yeah.
That's what she's saying, that she hasn't officially got, it's all this tracking and the paper trail of
Gotcha.
what we're doing. You know what I mean? That's kind of what she's referring to.
Well, here's the update today, and then she'll get
Yeah, just
after
send it
we
to her.
approve it, yes.
Yeah.
So the conversation that I'm
Uh-huh.
having with Ms. Collins is that that the design guidelines will be adopted by resolution from the agency and from Franklin Council, that these are the guidelines for the city of Keystone Heights. And so there will be something set forth in that language, legal terms, to make sure that that the proper research, how it was established, will be set forth within that resolution. The guidelines themselves will then be the guidelines of the city of Keystone Heights through the Heritage Commission for any programs that may or may not be offered, or whatever, if we choose to build a building to meet design guidelines or things of that nature. But we need something, the design guidelines, to make sure that those are still appropriate. And if there are no additional changes to the design guidelines, then that would be fine as well. But then it would be up to the city attorney and city staff to draft that resolutions that we are saying that these are the guidelines, the historical guidelines of the city of Keystone Heights, not just the agency and not just for the purpose of the facade grant.
Did I hear her say that if we built a new home, that they would use the design guidelines of the Heritage Commission to Did I understand you to say that if a new home was built, that these design guidelines would be
No.
used for a new home?
No,
Okay,
no,
I thought I heard you
no,
say-
if the city was going to build a building, or if there was gonna be a building that was gonna be built through grant funding, that we could put these design guidelines in. If there's a project moving forward, that these are the official design guidelines for the
For
city of Keystone
historic-
Heights, for whatever we would use them for moving forward.
For historic buildings, though.
For historic buildings, or even the looks of new, it says, it says architecture, colors, and things of that nature that are all set forth in those design guidelines to meet.
Right.
And so we're looking more robust than just the facade grant. We're looking something for the city of Keystone Heights. So if we do have new structures that come in that's maybe built by the city, or if there's grants later on down the road that are historic in nature to do replications of things of that nature, that we've got guidelines that come from the city of Keystone Heights that are officially adopted.
Okay. So, based on what the city manager is saying, I think we need to look at this a little more broadly and not single in on just having it specific to the facade grant.
It's not just to the
No,
facade grant. Okay.
I know it's not. There's
Okay.
also language I understand about private property owners, but just creating the preamble to be a little bit more broad, just so that it can encompass maybe unseen or unknown.
Because, like I said, this will be adopted by a resolution, so there will be all of that of how
Right.
the history how we came to these design guidelines, what they're to be used for, and things like that will be drafted in the resolution
okay.
itself.
So what we need to think is more specific to the Heritage Commission and what our role is in the city with the private property owners, grant applications, and then anything else coming down the pike that we don't know about yet, but that we want to have in place the language to cover it if it comes in, and it's not then outside of our jurisdiction, so to speak. So there's nothing wrong with this. We just need to create it a little more broadly. And in and beyond that, the city is going to have its own resolution that they're going to adopt as well. So what I think the concern is that if we can adopt this today, there's nothing wrong with it, but we may end up coming back and changing it in the future.
If you're looking at project specific.
Right.
We're looking at, a packet that these are the design guidelines for the city of Keystone Heights.
Yeah, I think these are the design guidelines for the old homes, not the city of Keystone Heights that would include all new homes and things like this. This is historic homes, isn't it? That's what the design guidelines were. I thought, I could be wrong, but I just thought they were, it says it replaced a P&Q. That might be then.
Well, and it's within,
Dealing with historic preservation.
right, so it's not specific to
Not specific to
historic homes.
It's overall.
Oh, buildings, downtown well, sure,
So
I mean,
under
it's,
buildings,
buildings and
homes,
homes is the same thing to
anything
me.
that has that
Right.
Well,
history.
yeah, anything that's historic.
Right,
So
so
I think-
what do we need to do? I don't see what
So
the.
we
what
need to
needs be-
craft this more broadly,
Can you give me
basically.
one little example?
We need, go
So
ahead.
the design guidelines itself, the nuts and bolts, I'll give you specific examples. When Mr. Gibbs was renovating the old Dollar General store, and he came to the Heritage Commission and said, talk to me about the look of this building, what this building should look like. You have the document that is the design guidelines. This is what's adopted that, we are trying to build our community to look like. And so within those, it should not be purple, it should not be neon pink, it should be whatever color it is. Those guidelines themselves, that the nuts and bolts you're comfortable with, there's no additional changes or anything like that that needs to be done to those specific guidelines. You're just really looking at language and how you adopted these guidelines. Is that the changes that I'm hearing?
That was the suggestions that came in, you know, so with the adopted language. I honestly myself would be a little more comfortable if we took another month, and I just, now that I kind of have an understanding of, yeah,
understanding.
the bigger picture of what we're trying to get, where we're trying to get to, and review it all to see if there is something in the actual criteria of the guidelines that
So
needs to be.
there-
Would you look
there's-
at this then for us for the next meeting? And make the
Yes.
suggested changes?
We
yes.
have, and we have used these guidelines frequently. People will come in and they'll buy a home.
Right.
And, you know, I'm looking, what is the history of Keystone Heights? What did it used to look like? We'll hand them the design guidelines. And so, this is what we look towards, how we look at renovating our older structures. It talks about the paint colors, it talks about, you know, the architecture, things of that nature. And so we utilize that to pass out to any residents who are interested in renovating their home or painting appropriate color so it's not a neon pink. Very different from a beach life
Mhm.
necessarily kind of scenario. And so we do get asked, and that way this is a document that's the official Keystone Heights design guidelines for our area, that if you're looking at doing period specific or period appropriate, this is what you would follow.
I don't see no changes in that. But I'm happy for, I'm happy. Are you guys all right? I mean, we can get Carrie to review it
I
and.
mean, I understand what you're saying. When we were looking at buying this house, the year prior to buying it, I reached out to the city of Keystone and said, we want to build an additional 2-car garage and a 2,500 square foot building down below on this property in the city. And they sent me all this information, which is exactly what we're talking about here.
Right.
And I had to go through that to make sure that we could meet those guidelines.
Right.
And that really dictated us buying the property.
Well, and it's helpful. Now, these are guidelines, they're not requirements.
Yeah,
So,
right.
you know, as
Yeah.
property owner, you're capable of doing what you
You
want.
just don't want to be in the middle of it and they go, you can't do that.
Right, but this is something that says that if you're interested, and we do have several that have come up that are interested in doing, you know, their paint colors, they wanna be
Yeah.
as period specific or period appropriate. And so will be adopted by the Heritage Commission and passed through to the council, as these are the guidelines of
Mhm.
the city of Keystone Heights. They're, you know,
Mhm.
Well, I know in Jacksonville, my son owned a house there in Riverside, and they have very strict guidelines.
yes, and these are,
But, and if I'm not mistaken, they're guidelines, but they're mandatory.
yes, and that's,
If
so
you're a
there's,
part of that, yeah.
there's design requirements, and these are not, these are suggestions, but
Because
it's things that if we were to open up a grant for homes outside of the agency, which I'm not saying that that's what's gonna happen, but then we would have guidelines that if you want our money, you're going to do it this way.
Right.
So we're making sure that these guidelines meet those needs.
Yeah.
You have this, right?
Yeah,
But if that's the case, and you understand that, and we feel okay with that, then we would just take it off.
Mhm. All right. I'm finally starting to understand. And probably everyone else already does. I don't know if you do or not.
No, it was.
So
But
there was a
apparently,
lot.
if we don't change our guidelines, we have these guidelines and they're sufficient, and we like them the way they are, there's no reason to change them. I mean, they're historic, you know, then we don't really need this information added to these guidelines.
That, I feel comfortable, will be added in the resolution that they're adopted.
Okay. So then,
But now, the Heritage Commission, I want to say, is one step ahead of the agency, as this is something that we've discussed with the agency last month. And so I was asked to come to the Heritage Commission to make sure that you were comfortable, or to review your design guidelines. So if you want to take another month to make sure that there are things covered, then by all means, you have the time to do so.
If you feel.
well, we could take another month. I feel these are pretty good. They've been, you know, we've had them, they were drawn, a lot of cities use the same type of guidelines, and, but I think, you know, if, there's no reason not to. I just was under the impression this had to, I was told this needed to be done and signed for this grant stuff going in. So I don't, time-wise, are we good?
In time-wise, you're
Until
good. Like I
August.
said, you kind of a one-up on this is this was just discussed last month in the agency's meeting. So this would be the first month that I would be bringing to you from the city, asking you to please review your guidelines in anticipation that the city will be offering money to meet them.
Are you good with an August meeting?
Sure.
Or September?
Absolutely.
Yes, okay. So we will, at this point, you have agreed to look at these. I'd ask everyone to look at them. They're, I mean, if you,
They're in this
I
bill.
just, yes, they're part of our thing. And if you know a lot about historic structures and facades and things like that, I mean, you know,
And
this was adopted from other heritage commissions too, I would think, you know, all put together, but
I'm happy
Carrie's
to
gonna
be
look at it.
the point of contact. If you have
Yes.
suggested changes, you can.
So, yes, if you have any, let Carrie know, and then we'll put it on the agenda for August
Or September. I thought
or
we-
September.
We're taking July and August.
We're taking, or June, July and August, yeah, for September meeting.
Sounds good.
All right. Sorry, Miss Lynn, I totally,
No, no worries.
I think I was led astray at home by the comment on the thing and that, you know,
No worries at all.
Okay.
gotcha.
We're
Okay.
just back on track. We want to make sure that we've got guidelines. That way, if coming down, if there's city of money that's going to be offered, then we can say absolutely, you can apply for city funding for anything, if it's renovating your home or whatever. But these are the design guidelines that we would like for you to abide by if you're going to use our money for it.
Okay. Excellent, thank you. Thank you, Carrie, for going over that. And,
No problem.
okay. And Lynn, do you still need a copy of anything, or you just wait till September?
Anything that's distributed at the dais for the public meeting, I do need a copy of, for public records. That's,
This,
yes, ma'am.
so, was this attached to the agenda?
It was not to, I do need a copy of it.
I want
because
to, I
it's
have a note to send you a
part of
copy of this.
Yeah.
Okay, I just couldn't remember if it was attached to the agenda. To Lynn, yes, I'll put 2 stars by that. Okay, thank you. And then, Ms. Lynn has mentioned to me, I think we're, wait a minute, down to E, the old signs update, that's still out, there's no new information.
That's
on-
correct.
on the
So there are
cost.
2 signs. We're focusing on the Keystone Inn sign first. We'll be looking at the Dine-In sign next. And the goal is to restore the neon in one side of that sign.
Okay. Where would we put those? Has that,
The
In the s-
signs,
uh-huh.
they're in storage behind the
Yeah.
sign.
no, where would we put them restored? Has that been
There's
discussed?
some, and so again, this is why the design guidelines are so important. There's some things that are coming up in the works and we might have opportunities to put them on display.
Excellent. Okay, the next item is the plaque application for 560 Live Oak Avenue. And this is Miss Natty. That's her name for her grandchildren. Anyway, everyone should have a copy of it. Has everyone looked at it? This was from last month.
Right.
Okay.
Natalia,
That we
and
didn't get to.
yours?
Yes.
Yep.
This is 560 Live Oak Avenue. Did everyone get a chance to look at the house? It's in excellent shape. What we look for the historical, where's my, we look for historical, information on it, and, the upkeep. Have there been any changes that don't fit the house when it was made? This was in 1962, and it's, I guess, a mid-century ranch. What would you say? But it looks like it's in excellent repair. They haven't done anything odd to it, out of character or anything.
Yeah, I've been
Plantings
inside
are beautiful.
outside the house, yeah.
Bob, did you get a chance
Gorgeous.
to take a peek at it?
I do.
So what we do is complete, we have a little, jeez, wait a minute, I'm sorry. I didn't bring my stuff from last month, but I had it all ready last month, and that's hers. This is her stuff, but the scoring sheet,
This right here, are you going for that?
No, I'm just looking for the scoring sheet.
Oh, the scoring
But,
sheet.
yeah, I think, hold on a second. It's in your, it would be in your handbook.
What's that?
Geez. Well, I'm gonna skip to new business for just a second. I passed these out. This was information only. Steve asked me to hand this out to you guys, okay? So these are both. Did you not get a copy of that?
Yeah, it was on.
Okay, I thought it was already.
It was on the email, but not.
Oh, this guy.
Oh,
Here,
what
here.
am I looking for?
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, this
So
is to sign, oh, this is to.
It's just info only. Why can't I find what I'm looking for? I'm looking for the guidelines on
The score sheet.
this, yes, thank you.
Oh, this is for the grant application.
Yes.
She just wants us to look at it.
I just wanted to
Oh,
say that while I was
okay.
digging for this other. So we will be looking at architectural considerations, historical considerations, and maintenance. And then we add a number between 1 and 10, for it. I know that there's, I guess, are you two the only, have you been here when we did a plaque application before, Nina? So you're good. You're the only one that hasn't done it. So have you reviewed these? Do you know these guidelines, Carrie, or no? Basically, if they're below a certain amount, if they're not taking care of the home, they've made structural changes that aren't consistent with the style of the architecture, they would score low, and you probably wouldn't want to
Okay.
do it from a historical perspective. And then the owners of the home, the maintenance is another one, and then the first was architectural, and then the second is historical. And what's good about this house is this was built by Mr. Tyre, and he was an architect in Keystone back in the day. Ruby, and that's what,
He was a general contractor. He
general
wasn't-
contractor, he was a
wasn't an
builder.
architect.
Builder is what I'm
He was
trying
a
to say,
builder.
thank you. I misspoke, a builder. So at a time that was crucial in Keystone's history. So, I mean, it has some panache from that standpoint. So I feel like even from that, just that little bit, it gives it more significance, historical significance. So it looks like it's in wonderful condition, very well maintained. And I think based on that, I think it's worthy of approval. And so that's what I'm looking for each person. We can fill out a form, or you can just kind of decide for yourself, if you said the building, for instance, like under historical considerations, which was, did someone, a leading role person in Keystone have something to do with it, or was there something significant about it, which I think our significance was the builder, okay?
Yeah.
So that, to me, qualifies it as a 10 under that. And it's well-maintained, and that qualifies as a 10. So the only other thing was the architectural part of it, and it seems to be intact as it was built. They didn't add anything that didn't go with a mid-century home.
Yeah.
So it looks like a straight 10 to me, all the way across, but that's real, some people would go lower maybe. But you'd have to go really low. You'd have to go below a 6 on all of these not to approve it.
And
What-
so how old is the home?
It's
62.
62.
62, I think is what this thing says here. Date of construction, 1962.
Oh,
And here's the pictures. We didn't get to this last month, but.
I know they had it repainted last year.
Pictures. Did all that look right to you?
They've done a ton of stuff outside.
The mountains,
On the yard.
they're actually the ones that went in there
And
and
did-
rehabbed that
Mhm.
house.
yeah, the yard is
Okay.
The yard is absolutely gorgeous. I love the color of the paint she picked. I thought that was a good
The
color.
only thing about it was, on the door.
There's a missing door? Oh, it only had one door.
to get out if there was a fire or something.
Oh, well, that's the way, she said the only thing about it is it only had one door to get out in the event of a fire,
Oh.
but that wouldn't affect us.
No,
What I don't remember is, I don't know that we had a worksheet, but I don't know that we have to turn in a, yes, we do. We have to score it, and then we have to turn it in. It has to have a special,
Like it's official.
yes. So, and we need to update this form. It's got a place for 7 commissioners on it, and I don't know who's on each seat. I could just look up, do we know who's on each seat, Ms. Lynn? Like what seat on the Heritage Commission is Ms. Hersey? I don't know
Yes.
that they're,
I believe so.
I
We've
have-
been relying on your records, but we can talk about that.
yeah, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I just know
Okay.
there's 7 of them, and I don't know who's who.
Okay.
You know, but we can get that figured out. If you could just, I could write your name down and your number, and then fill this form out, you know, for the record,
Okay.
if you guys are all right with that.
So, yeah, so you're saying you're going to make edits to the form and send it to us, and so we can vote and send it back to you?
No, we can vote on it.
Oh, well, we
I
can
just,
vote? Okay,
yes,
good.
and I can complete it, we'll just turn this in, but I don't know whose seat, so I can't put the
Gotcha.
person's name
Oh,
there.
okay.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Okay.
But I can write your vote down and
Oh,
fill this out.
perfect.
Okay, so,
Okay.
Do you want a
everybody
copy of
get that? Do you want me to copy it?
Well, no, I was gonna say, would you like, someone to copy it so you don't have to use your original?
I'm not gonna
Maybe-
use it.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna put it right on a piece of paper.
Oh,
who-
okay, okay.
Your number, what you, excuse me, if I can find my agenda. Excuse me. Here it is. Okay, so Ms. Nina, do you want to, you need to look at the numbers, or have you got kind of a
It's a
number?
10.
It's a 10, okay. Carrie, what do you think?
So do you give for each category a number?
Yes. Well, no, overall. You could give for each, you could give a category.
So what is the total amount?
Can I just ask a question? Is
Sure.
there a grant, there's a signed packet, or I'm sorry, a plaque packet, correct? That an application, and then there is, within that application, there's scoring requirements.
Mhm.
If that's the case, then maybe, because I know that
Do
this
a
was brought
separate-
up, would table that. So let me get with you after this meeting, if that's okay.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to send that out, send out your specific requirements that we need from the Heritage Commission to go ahead and approve this appropriately. Make sure that the scoring's done for our records as well.
Well, we've kind of already agreed too that under the 3 categories that I just mentioned, architectural, historical, and maintenance, that it appeared they were a 10 in all of those categories.
Okay.
So they would be scoring, if we all voted that way,
Mhm.
Right.
you know,
So you're
they
basically
would
voting on
certainly
the 3
make it.
categories
Right.
as a whole,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
That's how I'm looking at it,
Okay.
because there's no form to fill out.
Well, it just has
Except
the 3.
for, yes, I
Yeah, so I
can,
didn't know if it was 10, 10, 10, and so per commission, or per, person
per
that,
person,
they
how
would
you would
have-
have voted for
how
it.
they would, you know, because just, you might score something separate, architecturally as you would score it. Can you go back to the sheet? I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Gotcha.
As you would score it in maintenance or in,
Right, it doesn't have to be a
Historical.
10, right? It could
Right.
be any
So-
of those numbers, but you'd still have to be, it can't be lower than a 6, I think I said, to make it.
right, right. I'm just saying that, like, I mean, I'm just saying that I might not score it like a 10 in every category, you know, overall. Like, I might score it like, you know, a different number, but, I mean, nothing below a 6, but, so I guess, do you want me to average it?
That's actually what we
So
do,
wait,
we
so here's-
average it.
So really what you're saying is the highest score as an average is a 30, if you give each
Yes.
category a 10. You can't go, they go below 18, which would be 3 times 6 is 18, then it's a no.
Right.
But then, like you said, I could say it's a 10 on this, it's a 7 on
Yeah.
this, it's an
Right.
8 on
Yes.
this, and my score, my total score is,
Yes.
you know,
Is gonna be
24,
higher,
right.
right.
You follow me? So as long as it's anything above
Okay.
18, it's a go, no
Well
matter
then,
what.
okay, well then I would vote to approve their plaque application.
I would too, and we can wait, I mean,
I mean,
say it.
well, no, yeah, I understood what
You
you
see,
said, and I
right.
could go through I could, say,
Right,
but
there-
I'm, right.
There's a difference between scoring it and voting to approve.
Approve
So
it,
scoring
right.
it would take, you would have to take home the application,
Right.
take the photos, look at it, and be able to
do
score
the
it and
scoring.
defend your score
Right,
Yeah,
on that. And so if that's the way that the application is presented, then I would ask that it would be tabled, and then staff can work with the, Madam Chair to go ahead and make sure that it's done appropriately. If it's just an application that doesn't necessarily require scoring on each category, but can be a motion to approve, then we can go ahead and do that today.
right, we'd have to know that each category came above, a 6 or whatever. So, well,
okay, so I mean,
I think we've all agreed we think it's
Yes,
approvable, but we
yes.
haven't scored it. So
Right.
if you are all right with this, I could let Natty know that we felt like we could apply, we have approved the plaque application, and we could go ahead and order it, and then turn in this paperwork.
oh, yeah, okay, perfect.
Are you guys okay with that?
because it takes a while to get the plaque.
Yes,
Okay.
it does. And she wrote her check,
A while to get it.
this was in April,
Right.
right? And so we didn't get it in until the May meeting. I don't remember what happened. And then we were gonna vote on it, for May, and in June, what happened last month? We just said we didn't have time to do it. I don't remember.
Yeah, it is June, yeah.
Or it was April and then May, yeah, now here it's June. And if we wait till July, or we meet in
Well, we're not meeting
July,
again until September, so.
Right.
Right, well, and so you've just talked to this end, I mean, I don't know what their views are on the application.
Oh, I'm fine with it. It's just that, I'm reasonably sure that this was changed because this used to be a garage.
Hmm.
what would
What
it
is that you're
define
looking
it?
at?
That was the garage, that was an addition? Did they change it into a room instead of a garage?
I mean, I'm fine with it, but to me, that
Did
changes.
they already buy it like, it was like that when they bought it?
Right.
Yeah, so I don't think they physically did
The
that.
mountains, well, I don't know if Steve and them did it or somebody did before them, but
Yeah, it just,
I know it was changed.
under architectural,
The roof structure, as far as I remember, hasn't changed, but they did change.
because there's a metal roof on there now.
Well, no, I'm just saying, the roof
You're talking
structure,
about the
the
design of it.
footprint of the house hasn't changed, but they did alter
Mhm.
it as for what it was originally.
Okay.
I mean, even my house has been altered than what it was originally.
Mhm.
The bay window
Most
is
of
not original on the upstairs. So,
Even at a 6, a good example of an established architectural style, its alterations may be present but do not substantially obscure or compromise the style of the original design building. So even if you scored it lower and, it wouldn't preclude it being
Mhm.
approved.
Sure, I mean, houses, that's what, as a
Right.
house ages, different owners, people change things.
But I'd like to let her know that we would approve it, but, if you
I
guys
think
wanna
you
just.
should, there's too much of a delay already.
Yeah, I think so too.
I
and-
just voted out.
Thank you. Well, everybody, I think
Make a
everyone.
motion to approve.
Second?
a second.
All in favor?
All right.
Okay, so we've all approved on it and agreed on it, but we still need a worksheet, okay, for the file. So if you don't mind filling out your sheet and email it to me, or just let me know the category of what your scoring is. You can email it or text it to me, either way. And then I'll put that, because I gotta do a form to turn in for it.
This
Okay.
is what we need to fill out. Is that what you're saying?
No, your plaque
The grading sheet.
application scoring sheet.
Okay, so I'll make a copy out of
This,
Okay.
it's in your handbook.
Yep.
that.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll make a copy. and
It's
send
in
it to you.
section 6 of your handbook.
Okay, great.
okay.
And okay, yeah, those are just the forms, okay. I'm sorry, I was looking at these forms and I said, did I overlook them? But these are just FYI, there wasn't anything we needed to do with that. All right, anything else? I'll go ahead and cash your check, and I wanted to mention this. Carl Signs, I've been trying to call them, and, hopefully they're still in business making these signs, but I can't get through, their mailbox is full, so, anyway, I'm trying. I don't know if their price has been raised, and that's another thing. I hope it hasn't, but if
Where
it.
are they located?
They're on 301, I think.
They were.
Yeah, they're still on
It might be
301.
just-
Had any luck trying to get a hold of them?
I haven't had any luck. Have you tried to get hold of them?
We have for a couple of things. We weren't, it's been over a year since we've been able to get a hold of them. We've
Oh, wow.
taken our business elsewhere since then.
Well, the past few times, I mean, recently, not real recent, but I've been through there and it's not closed down or anything. I mean, the building structure's still there and all, but I didn't go inside.
That
But,
might need to be.
I'll
need
have to
be
go over there and
done.
figure it
Yeah, let's just
out.
go knock on the door and see what's going on.
Yeah, because if they're
That's
not,
not
then
long.
we'll have to have another vendor do a plaque for us. Does the city use anyone that could do a plaque like we have our wooden plaques?
We've got several different vendors that we utilize for that. That's something that we can discuss and look into.
Okay, all right, good, in case they're out of business, all right. Thank you. And then I would just say that if it ends up that they've raised their price or we have to go with another vendor and it's higher, that the Heritage Commission could cover the difference, with our funds, because they didn't know. But maybe future applications that come in would be different. Although this form needs to be updated before we give it out to anybody else. And I think there's one more person that's interested right now, a neighbor of these people that want to plaque their home as well.
That's great.
So,
I think that's great.
that'll be great, but if
people
we
are
ask them for
taking that kind of
$50 and it's
interest.
more, then but it won't, shouldn't be
Yeah.
that much. Okay. Don't forget, our next meeting that we've changed to 10 o'clock in the month, right? It's the 3rd. We're actually going to be meeting on the 3rd Tuesday of each month, right?
September 21st.
Yes. I've got the wrong. Gosh. I've got last month's agenda here. Okay, anything else? For the good of the order? All right. All right, guys, don't forget your sheets, okay, just to get to me, and I'll turn them in to Lynn. All right, thank you, appreciate it. Meeting adjourned.